So, yesterday, I think we got a good sense of the problem with that excellent, thought-provoking talk on hatred. And so today I'm going to introduce more fully the solution, the early teachings on metta. I'm going to invite you to listen in a particular way, to listen with your body, with your heart, with your imagination, with your faith. Let's see if we can just slip from the everyday mind that calculates and measures and tries to learn things in a particular way into something more sensitive, alive, open to possibilities. Don't worry, the world you know will still be waiting for you when we get to the end of this session, all too ready. And it's nothing complicated, it's nothing unusual. Just pretend you're listening to a bedtime story, and I'll tell you a story. So, come with me. Let's be transported to the world of ancient India. A world of vibrant green paddy fields, vast dark forests, dirt roads through little groups of thatched, mud-walled huts with cows and chickens running about. Women walking to the well with earthenware pots on their heads. A world of farmers and artisans, Brahmins and wandering ascetics, merchants and princes. A world which is very alive. We're in the world where the Buddha lives and teaches. Sometimes in a village meeting place, sometimes beneath the spreading branches of a banyan tree, teaching anyone who wants to listen, including invisible presences in the silence of the night. And here we all are, disciples of the Buddha. Like the Buddha, we live wandering freely on the dusty roads, through the villages and jungle forests, sensitive to the life around us, meditating, talking to the people we meet about our understanding of what makes life worthwhile, and eating whatever food we're given. So let's go together to a glade in the forest. This is such a lovely place to sit together. Warm breeze, dappled shade, it's just right. We can all get comfortable here. Just sense all around you. Feel how the earth supports us. The air gives us life. The sounds around us, the bird song in the trees, tell us all about the changing flow of life. Life is so wonderful. The freer my heart, the more I can enjoy it. We've been here sharing stories of our journeys, our journey to freedom of heart, our journeys to this place, to being together here. So I'll tell you some more of mine. So this is my story. Back in the day when I was a youngish woman, I was inspired by meeting some followers of the Buddha and joined them in this wandering life. And soon after that, the monsoons were coming. And what the people I was with did then, was find a place to settle and stay in one place and practice for 3 months. They called it the rainy season retreat. So I joined a band of the Buddha's followers. There was quite a lot of us, maybe about 500 of us, and it was getting really crowded around the Buddha. The village there wasn't enough to support us, so 500 of us decided to set out and find another place to settle and practice for that time. We wanted a new place. So we set off and travelled, all the time wondering if the rain was going to start soon. We went through paddy fields and villages, day after day, until at last we came across this really beautiful view. We were getting to the foothills of the Himalayas, and we came to this place where, it was just gorgeous. The mountains were made of stone, the colour of blue-green crystal. It's just really lovely. And there were these really deep jungle groves. It gave us cool, thick shade, really lovely and green and sheltered. And it was beautiful. It was like the earth was strewn with this sand that was like really fine silver and pearls just glistening in the sun. And there were pools there of pure, sweet, cool water. It's just really refreshing. So we sat down there and spent the night, just really enjoying our surroundings. And in the morning we went to the nearby village to see if we could find some breakfast. And the people there, they were just really pleased to see us. They were in a bit of a sort of far-flung spot. They didn't get a lot of traffic, so they were really glad to have visitors. They particularly didn't get a lot of spiritual seekers passing through, and they were really honoured by us being there. So they really encouraged us to stay. They were so confident in our practice and happy to see us. They encouraged us to stay on. And they said, we'll just really help to support your retreat. So actually there were enough of them to feed us. It was a big enough village, so that was great. And they even built huts to accommodate us, to shelter us from the rain. And they provided them with everything we needed, beds and chairs and jugs for drinking water and bowls of washing water. They just provided everything to set up our retreat. It was just perfect, really, perfect conditions for us. A bit like somewhere else you might have heard of called Adhisthana. There's this really great retreat centre where everything's perfect. So we decided to stay put and we settled in for our retreat there. And to start with, everything was great. We were just really intent on pursuing the truth, so we settled in and we were meditating under trees. We each found our spot to be, practicing mindfulness day and night, whether we were meditating or not, and enjoying wonderful states of mind. It was really lovely. And then we got to day 3. Do you ever have that day on retreat where somehow everything gets a bit more challenging? Well, it was like that, big time. There were these really strange noises at night. I just found it really kind of quite frightening and certainly very distracting. And I just started getting more and more restless, more and more unsure what I was doing there, more and more uncomfortable. And these noises seemed to get worse. And then I started noticing a bad smell. And I just really couldn't meditate anymore. I started to feel like a total failure. Like, what am I actually doing here? Who am I to think I'm going to stay for 3 months? I can't do this. This is terrible. So that was all pretty uncomfortable. What I didn't realise was that the tree spirits who lived in the trees that we were meditating under were getting really unhappy with us being there. The villagers had welcomed us, but the tree spirits hadn't. they were actually pretty sort of disgruntled because we were outshining them. We were so radiant that from all our practice that they felt a bit like, they weren't quite good enough anymore. And that these trees just weren't big enough for all of us. So with their families, they gathered their tree spirit children and left their trees to allow us to sit under them. But by day 3, they were sort of getting, well, my mum always says that guests are like fish. After 3 days, you don't want them in the house anymore. So it was like that. They were just getting like, how long are they staying? It's all very well, but like, where are we going to go if they're going to just sit here under our trees any longer? I don't know if you have many tree spirits where you usually live. Do you? Do you come across those? Yeah. Are you sure? Just interesting how you recognise them or not. Anyway, there were lots there. And they felt displaced and put out. So, when they realised we were there to stay for a few months, they decided to scare us off. So they started appearing as fierce demons in the night, as sort of yakshas throwing things about and sort of making all sorts of scary noises. So that was what was going on. But I didn't really quite realise at the time what it was, but I was certainly feeling like I couldn't carry on. But then one of the leaders, one of the senior monks, called us all together, sort of said, what is going on here? He said, I've noticed when we first got here, the first few days, you were all like glowing. And now you're all looking really tired and drawn. And it all feels a bit more kind of energetically fidgety here. What's going on? What's the matter? So we all sort of sat there, and eventually someone said, well, things keep falling from the trees near me, and it's really distracting me. They sounded kind of quite heavy and quite close. And someone else said, well, I hear this growling in the night. And someone else said, oh, and the screeches and wails. There's all kinds of unearthly noises. And my back hurts. And someone else said, well, no, there really are monsters. I saw a yaksha last night. It was so scary. And someone else said, and the smell. There's this terrible smell. It's like rotting flesh or something. We can't have this. And someone says, no, I don't know what the smell is. It's just really oppressive. It's just getting worse and worse, and it's giving me this terrible headache. And everyone said, yeah, me too. It's just really horrible here. So what to do? Well, we all decided to break our retreat and go and find the Buddha. We kind of thought, well, we've got 3 months. Probably by the time, there's probably time to spend the second half of the rainy season in retreat, but we'll find somewhere else to go. That'll be fine. We'll move on. So we travelled all the way again, back through the villages and the paddy fields until we found the Buddha. We travelled all that way. And we found the Buddha. He saw us coming and came to meet us. And he said, what are you doing here? Haven't I told you to stay put in the rainy season? Just to stay in one place. That's how you're to practice at this time. That's what I always say. What are you doing here? I thought you'd gone off. So we told him all about the monsters and the smells and the headaches and all the rest of it. And the Buddha went, So he surveyed all of India, because he could do that being the Buddha. With his divine eye, he scanned the whole country. He said, well, there is nowhere else you can go. There's nowhere even with enough space to put one chair down, never mind for 500 of you. There's nowhere better. You're going to have to go back. Go back to where you were. And if you do, if you go there and practice, you will attain liberation. You will find freedom of heart. So then he talked to us about how to do that. How to practice, how to protect ourselves from all these uncomfortable goings on our retreat. How to meet whatever we met. So this is how he talked. He explained, this is what to do if you're skilled in goodness and you know the path of peace. Well, for some reason, usually I keep quite quiet about my thoughts. I just couldn't help myself blurting out, but I don't know the way. I'm quite new to all this. I'm not very skilled. I don't know. And the Buddha was really patient and really kind with me. He took me in and said, yes, you do know. Every human has somewhere in their heart of hearts where they recognise true goodness. Though it's often obscured or the channels to it are a bit messed up. But there is something in you that recognises, because you're a human being. Plus, something has called you to be here, living this life. Something in you has resonated with something true, something good, something really valuable, something trustworthy. It's a bit like conscience. It's a way of knowing deep within, you do have this. So you do know true goodness. You know that goodness of heart. And as he spoke, I could start to tune in to this subtle feeling of like, yes, there's something I know. That's the way to go. The Buddha said, this has the same flavour as the goal. This is your guide. This is the direction. Because this goodness is the goodness of freedom, of awakening. It's the possibility of true peace. It's not different to the goal of the spiritual life. It's the same nature. He said, know that goodness. Know it in yourself. Recognise it. Dwell with it. Then he went on. He urged, know yourselves as capable human beings, worthy of good conscience. Live from that. So much arises from a clear conscience. Know that you're capable, you're worthy, and your principles are sound. Knowing that, you can stand upright, straight as an arrow, really upright. You can live an upright life. And knowing you're worthy, your conscience is clear, your principles are sound. There's no need to be defensive from there. You can be tender, gentle, vulnerable, open, without arrogance. He said, let your speech express this way of being. Let your speech be straightforward and gentle and soft. And know also, speaking softly will affect your being. That will affect your heart-mind. Then the Buddha said, just look again at how lucky you are to be on retreat. Dwell on, enjoy how simple this life is. Your life is well supported. You have everything provided that you need. You've few duties, no dates to plan, no business to attend to, very few times to remember. It's a real opportunity for your mind to calm and become content and peaceful, without being pulled here and there by all the duties of normal life. This is a precious opportunity. Don't waste energy. Don't waste your energy yearning for home, yearning for your family life. And don't let yourself get caught up in anxiety about the people back home. They're getting on with their life fine without you. Don't be pulled by that. Be in this life. Feel its simplicity. He said, be unassuming, be modest, not arrogant. Realise you really don't know it all, because that will leave you an openness to something more. But keep your wits about you. We're not trying to totally eliminate the thinking mind or common sense. We're not cancelling all that out. We're just keeping them in the right place. He said, don't do even small things that you might regret or be embarrassed to tell a wise friend about. Otherwise, you'll just build up more shame, and that makes everything more complicated, more hidden, less upright, less tender. It sets up tension in your mind. So just take care about how you're living. Then the Buddha taught us wishing prayers to meditate upon. He said, just consider, reflect, wish like this. May all creatures feel happy and secure, really happy in themselves, full of well-being. And notice how you feel when you wish that. Again, wishing, praying. Whatever living beings there may be, plants, animals, whether long or big or middle-sized or short or really, really tiny, whether you can see them or not, whether they're nearby or far away, living now or still to arise, whether sensed, remembered or imagined, may they all be well and feel safe. May all creatures have happiness in their heart of hearts, be suffused, permeated, soaked through and through with happiness. May no one deceive another or despise and look down on another, wherever, whatever state they're in. May we be freed from perceiving things reactively due to our conditioning. May no one who does feel angry, no one who reacts to somebody else, want them to suffer. May we all be free from anger and ill will and not make enemies of each other. Then the Buddha compared the love he was talking about to the love a mother has for her child, her only child. He said to care for your heart in that way, really cherishing like a baby, cherishing and guarding the love and loving aspirations in your heart, just as carefully as a mother would protect her child. He said that love could be as strong and powerful as a mother's love. But instead of being just for one special child, this love could be unbounded, set free for everyone. So it's like as open and big as it wants to be, filling the universe, embracing all beings, nurturing and encouraging them to their growth and freedom, just like a good mother would, just really nurturing what helps the child to grow, each being to grow and become independent and free. Let love radiate within and without. Let it be boundless, unhindered everywhere, encompassing everything all at once, free from hatred and hostility. The Buddha said, sustain this, whatever you're doing. Whether you're standing, moving, sitting, lying down, keep free from drowsiness. Sustain this meditation. And he said, notice how it is. This is a sublime, divine abiding. Now, in you, in this world. This limitlessness is free of views. It naturally gives rise to ethical actions and clear understanding. We're living in the truth. It naturally releases us from greed because it releases the feeling of being separate from the world, of needing something outside ourselves, all that greedy compulsion. In this way, we're freed of circling round our old habit patterns again and again. This escapes rebirth and death. We just lose that frame of reference. That was how the Buddha taught us. So, inspired and gladdened, we set off back to our retreat. Made the journey back. It was getting a bit muddy by now. Nevertheless, all the way there, whether walking, sitting or lying down, we recalled these wishing prayers the Buddha had taught us. We cherished all that was tender and straightforward in our behaviour and our hearts, and allowed love to radiate within us, between us, in every direction, without bounds. With 500 of us travelling and practicing together, there was a real tangible energy to it. Love naturally flowed to everyone we met along the way, and everyone who came to mind, including the residents of our retreat spot that we were travelling towards. The people, the animals, the plants, the rocks, the water, the tree spirits, the water nagas, the fire demons, everything, everywhere, seen or unseen. And when we reached our destination, everyone there was delighted we'd returned. There was just this amazing, warm, welcoming atmosphere. I don't know if you ever have this feeling when you've been on retreat a few days. You come back to your place in the shrine room and it's like it can kind of welcome you back. You just really sort of be welcomed into that spot and settle back. It was sort of like that, but more. It felt really safe, really welcoming, really like coming home when we got back to this place. And there were no more disturbances in the night at all. We could meditate really easily. So I had a really special retreat. I just followed through with this practice the Buddha had set us off on. Sometimes I'd just simply attune myself to the beauty around me, those gorgeous blue-green mountains and the lovely pools of water and the gorgeous silver sand and just the feeling of being welcome and safe. Sometimes it was more of the flavour of the love that I knew everyone around me was cultivating. There were ups and downs, but overall it was like I just relaxed and softened more and more and more, and felt more and more suffused with love. The texture of it varied day to day. There were ups and downs, and even the ups were various. I remember one day where it just felt like my heart was blown open by feelings stronger than I'd dared to allow myself to feel before, like a passionate, ecstatic, deep red love. Another day was much more subtle, and I intuited it was best to keep sort of focusing inward, not to be kind of trying to radiate outwards too much. And quite subtly, I could just feel this loving energy gently, softly building until I knew it was just ready to be released. And it was as though it were a very fine, silky, gossamer scarf on the breeze, just drifting out to touch, caress anything in the world. Again and again, I came back to the Buddha saying, notice how it is. It is sublime, this, a divine abiding, and another wave of calm joy would come. So yeah, it was just a very particular time in my life. Some other time, I went to some friends who were like senior nuns and talked of my experiences, and they really understood and really met that. Seeing how I was so ablaze with passion for this path of love, with this wish to be able to love all that lives, one of them said, from now on, I was to be called Jvalamalini, she who is garlanded with flames. She said, let those flames encircle and transform whatever your life contains, however you choose to live. All of that was years ago. I'm practically old now. I was practically young then. And now I'm older, I can see that that whole period was a time of vision which has shaped my life and my heart ever since, calling me again and again to the path of transformation. It hasn't made me into a perfect superhuman who doesn't hate or get angry or afraid. I really quite hoped on that retreat that it would, that I would forever be radiating love constantly. But actually, I'm still an ignorant being full of karmic patterns and beset by demons of pride. I take things personally all the time. I fall into anger and into doubt. Maybe tree spirits are annoyed with me and distract me from practicing. Maybe earth spirits rise against me with doubt and pride. Who knows what's going on? And I've lived most of my life as a householder, raising children, plenty of work duties, and feeling pretty ordinary. No radiant, glowing spiritual happenings at all. And yet, ever since that time, I've carried this summary of the Buddha's teachings in my heart as a touchstone, a guide, as a cauldron of magic potion that can guide me to a place of safety and peace. If you know your own good and know where peace dwells, then this is the task. Lead a simple and a frugal life, uncorrupted, capable and just. Be mild, speak soft, Eradicate conceit. Keep appetites and senses calm. Be discreet and unassuming. Do not seek rewards. Do not have to be ashamed in the presence of the wise. May everything that lives be well, weak or strong, large or small, seen or unseen, here or elsewhere, present or to come, in heights or depths, may all be well. Have that mind for all the world. Get rid of lies and pride. A mother's love for her baby, her love, but now unbounded. Secure this mind of love. No enemies, no obstructions, whatever or however you may be. It is sublime, this. It escapes birth and death, losing lust and delusion, and living in the truth. So my life has been guided and shaped as a very gradual maturing in this path of love. Last year, I fell very ill. Friends cared for me, Sangha friends. And even more deeply, receptivity became my pathway, my gateway to love. It was clear I hadn't the energy to generate loving feelings or do anything much, really. I couldn't do anything for anyone else. I couldn't really be anyone particular. But it was also clear a lot of love was coming my way. And that all I could do, and all that was needed, was to just nudge my attention towards that love and allow it. Allow my friends to help me. Allow what was needed to heal. And doing that, I would soften and open and relax. There was the love of friends, and there was the love of the Buddha. Unconditional, warm, and unflinching, whatever I was going through. The practice was just relax, soften, open, feel the love, relax. So much is gifted to us if we just notice. So many blessings are showering upon us all just because we're in touch with the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. And my faith, my trust in love grew even deeper. Now I'm back to health, and the demons grab my attention again. All the same old things are around. They can still really grab me and pull me to some dark, bleak places at times. They all sort of call, whisper or shout. Call yourself a Buddhist? Where's your striving for the good? How are you practicing now? And where's your profound insight into the nature of reality after all these years? You're just having a nice time, enjoying the blessings, enjoying the love. They can really take me into dark places saying, you've got to let go of everything. It's scary. But recently, I've been finding my way home to a place of refuge and safety, just through these words again. If you know your own good and know where peace dwells. Yes, I can feel and know what's good, what's peaceful, and trust that to guide me. I don't need to believe what the demons are saying, or what anyone else has said, or what I've heard them say, usually misheard, often not living in the truth. And somehow just going, yes, where is the good? What do I know? What do I really know? Here is the good. I know this. I recognise this. Can satisfy these demons, and they sort of slink off. I know my own good and know where peace dwells. So I know this is the task. Be uju and mudu, Pali words, upright and tender. Such a great pairing. Be vulnerable and straightforward, undefended. That's enough. Sometimes I just think I just need those two words. Just remember what you're doing, how you're communicating. Can you do that with that openness, an open heart? And then again and again. It is sublime, this. It escapes birth and death, losing lust and illusion, and living in the truth.